Morning, my dear children. Welcome to our online classes and welcome to our social subject. We fully completed the 2 lessons. Okay, in the last lesson we discussed about the rain and rivers. I repeated number of times. Okay, I repeated number of times. I hope you understood very well the 2 lessons. Coming to the third lesson, what is the name of the third lesson? Tanks and groundwater. Okay, already know about the tanks. Okay, you can see the tanks in every village. Cheru. What are the importance of tanks? Okay, how the peoples are utilizing the tanks in our daily life. Okay, this one also divided into part 1 and part 2. In the part 1 you will discuss about the tanks. In the part 2 we will discuss about the groundwater. Coming to the introduction of the tanks. Okay, from thousands of years. Okay, from thousands of years, our ancestors, means our forefathers, are depending on the tanks. And they utilized the rainwater by building the tanks. We have a evidence, we have a proof that the tanks are built and used for agriculture from the period of megaliths. Okay, from the period of megaliths means the Stone Age people are called megaliths. We prove that tanks are built and used for agriculture from the period of megaliths. You know that our Kakatiya rulers, our Kakatiya kings established more number of tanks in our Telangana. Okay, very important children. You learn about the Kakatiyas in 12th lesson in your 7th class. Okay, the Kakatiya kings built a lot of tanks in our Telangana. By building the tanks, we can irrigate. Okay, by building the tanks, we can irrigate even in dry region. Okay, by building the tanks, we can irrigate even in the dry region of every village. Today also, from this day, we have 1 or 2 tanks in every village. Okay, this is the introduction of the tanks. What I told children, from thousands of years our ancestors built tanks for the purpose of irrigation. Utilized the rainwater and built the tanks. We have a proof that tanks are being built and used for agriculture in the period of megaliths. Kakatiya kings built a large number of tanks in our Telangana. That by building the tanks, we can irrigate even in a dry region also. But even today also, we have 1 or 2 tanks in every village. Coming to the next, how were tanks built? Okay, the tanks were built by building the strong wall of stones and mud across a small stream. Stream means Vagulu. In such a way, the wall is in one side and another side we have a large lake could be formed. Okay, how the tanks are built? The tanks are built by building the strong walls of mud and stones along with a small stream. At one side we have the wall, in other side we have a large lake could be formed. Okay, you can see in the picture how the tanks are prepared. You see the wall of the tank, it is very hard, built with stones and mud. Even the strong force of water will come also. Maximum tank walls are not broken. Tanks were sometimes built by the sometimes kings, sometimes a military leader, or sometimes village peoples. Okay, tanks are sometimes built by the kings, sometimes built by the military leaders or nayakas, sometimes built by the themselves, sometimes built by the villagers only. Those who are responsible for building the tanks, they preserved the memory by saying the stories of that person or in the temples or during the festivals. Those who are responsible for building the tanks, they sing the songs according to that persons during the festivals or in the temples. Okay, those who are responsible for building the tanks, they will sing a song in the memory of those who are building the tanks in the temples or festivals in the villages. Building of the tanks, every persons of the villages near to the tank and they do the work. They will not keep the additional laborers. Who are the laborers? Same villagers are the laborers building the tanks. All the villagers are unity. Okay, whenever the tank how to repair, all the villagers come and they will involve in the repairing or removing the silt. And they also kept some strict rules that any person don't want to stop the flowing water which are going towards the tanks. They appointed a person to regulate use of the water from the tanks. Appointed, okay, villagers appointed a person to regulate the use of water in tanks. Okay, the villagers appoint a person to regulate the water use of water in the tanks. The particular person is called Neerati. Neerati or Neeru Katte Manishi. Very, very important, children. Okay, the villagers appointed a particular person to the use of the water from the tanks. What is the name of the particular person? Neerati or Neeru Katte Manishi. This is about the topic how were tanks built. What I told first, tanks were built by building a strong wall of the mud and stones along with the stream. And one side we have the wall and the other side we have a large lake. You can see in the picture in your textbook. And next what I told, who were built the tanks? Sometimes the kings will build the tanks, sometimes military leader or nayakas, sometimes the villagers only. Those who is responsible for building the tanks, the villagers sing a song about them in the festivals or in the temples, in the village. For building the tanks, all the village people are involving. There is no laborers. Who are the laborers? The same villages are the laborers. Similarly, if any repair has happened in tanks, or if they want to remove the silt from the riverbed, the villagers will come and involve in the work. And the villagers appointed a particular person to regulate the use of water. What is the name of the particular person? This is very, very important, children. Neerati or Neeru Katte Manishi. Now we discussed about the tanks and how the tanks are built. Coming to the third topic, what is how did the tanks help? Already you know how the tanks are helping. Tanks providing drinking for animals. Okay, tanks providing drinking water for animals, for irrigating the fields. Okay, tanks providing drinking water for animals. We can use the tank for irrigating the fields also. In the drought region, even in the drought region, we can irrigate some crops. Okay, even in the drought region also we can irrigate some crops. What is mean by drought? Low rainfall results the drought. If there is no rainfall, then that we can say that is a drought region. Heavy rainfall results the floods. Okay, heavy rainfall, floods will come. Low rainfall, drought will come. For example, if you look at the Rayalaseema, okay, the rainfall is very low. That is why we can say that Rayalaseema is a drought-prone region. Even the low rainfalls also we can irrigate some crops in the villages. Tanks also helps in increase of water level. Okay, tanks, by building the tanks, okay, there will be increase of the water level in the wells or in the borewells also. If you look at any village or any place near to the tank, who are doing the borewells, maximum they will get water from the borewells. After the rainy season, the water will be decreasing in the summer season. For example, if there is no water in the tanks, the tank bed is used for raising the crops. Tanks bed. Okay, you see, in the tractors, a lot of mud is going from the tanks towards the agriculture. That is why tanks bed are used raising the crops. Okay, tanks beds are used for raising the crops. Okay, by building the tanks, we can prevent the flowing water. Okay, we can prevent the flowing water. We can also prevent the erosion of top soils. We should remember that tanks are not only for one person or two persons in the villages. The tanks is for all the peoples of the villagers. Okay, this is about the how did the tanks help. What I told, tanks will provide drinking water for the animals, and in the drought region also we can irrigate some crops. By having the tanks, we can irrigate in the fields. We can take the silt towards the fields to become the field as a fertile. And by having the tanks, we can prevent the flow of rainwater, and we also can prevent the erosion of the soil. Erosion means by the force of the water, the top soil will be went away. This is about the how the tanks help us. Coming to the next topic, decline of the tanks in our times. Okay, coming to the topic, decline of tanks in our times. You see, before 30 or 40 years, before 20 or 30 years, all the peoples of the villages are depend more and more in the tanks. But you see now, the tanks are disappearing. Before 20 years or 30 years, the tanks were neglected by the people and not giving more importance for the tanks and not giving more importance for the repairing of the tanks. There is a lot of silt is present in the tanks, taking the tank land for building houses and for agriculture. Almost maximum villages we can see a dry tanks. Okay, we can see a dry tanks in all the maximum villages in our Telangana. Not only in Telangana, in our India also. Instead of tanks, the people are giving more importance for digging the bore wells, digging the deeper and deeper tube wells. A great expense, okay? Great full money. They are keeping 50,000, 60,000, and they are digging the tube wells near the house. But those who are digging the tube wells, they are benefited for some of the years only. For some more days only, the water will not come to out, because everyone was digging the tube wells in every houses. The water will be disappeared, and the the water will not come out. Okay, this is about the decline of tanks in our times. See how in the starting in the thousands of years they given more importance to tanks, but now we are giving more importance to digging the tube wells, and we are the responsible by decreasing the underground water. We have to give the water, we have to give the safe environment to our future generations. That is why we have to give more importance for planting the trees and save the water, because water is essential in our daily life. This is about the decline, how the tanks are declining in the 20 or 30 years before. In before 20 years or 30 years, they are taking the silt towards the fields, they are taking the tank land towards building the houses, and there is a lot of encroachment, akramanchadam. There is a lot of encroachment of the tanks land for irrigation purpose. Instead of having the tanks, we are digging deeper and deeper tube wells for a great expanse. Okay, this is about the decline of tanks in our times. Coming to the next mission, Kakatiya. Just now only we discussed how the tanks are declining day by day, but when our Telangana state was formed in June 2014, after the TRS party was came, they took a great program, Mission Kakatiya, our village, our tank. Okay, they kept a target of 47,000. They have to repair 47,000 tanks. They have to repair the tanks. Removing the silt from the tanks. Construction of tank bunds. Mission Kakatiya, our village, our tank. Mana uru, mana cheruvu. The government of Telangana started. Okay, what is the target they kept? They have to repair the tanks. They have to remove the silt from the tanks, and they have to construct the tank bunds in almost 47,000 tanks, which is located in our Telangana. Okay, they kept the target 47,000 tanks. You can also find in your village if the tank are repaired or not. It is a good program or bad program. Okay, you can also go near to the tank and you can see is there any repair was done, new construction bunds are created. Coming to the next topic, fishing in the tanks. See, I told already, the tanks are not only providing the water for us and for animals. The tanks are providing the livelihood for fisher fox. Okay, tanks are providing livelihood for a fisher fox. You can see in the villages, those who are catching the fishes in the tanks, what we will call for them, the Besta. What are they? Besta community. Besta means Gangaputra. Besta community. Gundla and Mudiraj. They are the Telugu community. Tanks are not only providing the drinking water for us and animals. Tanks are not only providing irrigation for the field, okay, but also providing livelihood for a fisher fox. You know, Besta community means Gangaputra, and Mudiraj or Gunla is from Telugu community. These two communities are depending on the tanks only. They catch the fish in the tanks and they sell in the market. That is why I am saying tanks providing the work for this community. In the next class we will discuss about the Betavoli village in Suryapet district. Okay, this is about the topic Hope you understood very well. Thank you for watching.